The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play, so we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day. I sat there with Sally, we sat there we two, and I said, how I wish we had something to do. Too wet to go out, and too cold to play ball, so we sat in the house. We did nothing at all. So all we could do was sit, 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 and we did not like it, not one little bit. And then something went bump. How that bump made us jump. We looked, then we saw him step in on the mat. We looked and we saw him, the cat in the hat. For those of you who may not know, this is the opening for the classic children's book, The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss. Theodore Seuss Geisel, or Dr. Seuss, is a beloved author whose stories and illustrations have entertained and educated children and adults for many years. For the next few minutes, I would like to present to you the story of this endearing author and illustrator and the impact he has had on my life. Dr. Seuss started out his life as Theodore Seuss Geisel. According to the website SeussCentennial.com, Theodore Ted Seuss Geisel was born in Springfield, Massachusetts on March 2nd, 1904. He was the son of German immigrants, and his father and grandfather were both successful brewmasters. With the enactment of Prohibition and World War I, Ted and his sister Marnie and their entire family faced some difficult times in their lives. After completing high school, Ted attended college at Dartmouth and Oxford. While at Dartmouth, he used the name Seuss for the first time while writing for one of the school's magazines. This worked well for him, as he could get away with writing articles that the school really didn't approve of, but those who knew him still knew that he wrote the article. During his time at Oxford, he met his first wife, who encouraged him to become an illustrator and pursue life as an artist. Geisel would go on to work for several notable magazines, including the Saturday Evening Post. He worked for Standard Oil as an advertising and make animated training movies for the U.S. Army during World War II. Ted's transition from just Ted to Dr. Seuss came about when he saw a need in children's education and endeavored to fill that need with life and color. As I stated earlier, Geisel first used the pseudonym Seuss while working for a school magazine at Dartmouth. His first self-proclaimed big break came when he was asked to illustrate a children's sayings book called Boners. In 1937, Ted tried to sell his first manuscript in To Think I Saw It on Mulberry Street without much success, until he called in a favor with an old friend at Vanguard Press. After this, Ted was asked to write a children's primer by Houston Mifflin and Random House when the current primers were deemed boring. This primer would go on to be very successful, as we know it today as The Cat in the Hat. Theodore Geisel saw a need in the area of children's literature and determined that he would fill this uninteresting void with color and rhymes that appealed to children both young and old. Dr. Seuss's books have entertained and inspired me as both a child and as a parent. I grew up with Dr. Seuss stories. Bedtimes were filled with rhythmic rhymes about colorful meat and eggs, about elephants who went on wacky adventures, and colorful fish. Dr. Seuss's nonsensical words and worlds took me away from the normal and sometimes difficult life that surrounded me. Now I have the opportunity to sit with my own children and read to them these stories. I get to share in their laughter and help them to develop good reading habits. I look forward to reading his books all of my life. In fact, he's written a book for the not-so-young in numbers. It's called You're Only Old Once, a book for obsolete children. Dr. Seuss is truly an author for all ages. Dr. Seuss, or Theodore Seuss Geisel, has influenced many children over the years. His gift for rhyming and illustrating has endeared him to people of all ages, races, and cultures. I believe his philosophy in life can be summed up with a quote from one of his books, One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Dr. Seuss writes, "Today is gone, today was fun, tomorrow is another one. Every day, from here to there, funny things are everywhere. Now, go and find the funny things in your life and have a better day."